Remember, please hit like and subscribe for me. Thank you so much. Okay, let's go. Hi, everyone. Today's Wednesday, February the 18th, and this is the Moneyball Morning Report, charts by TrendSpider and Gamma Flows by Menther Q. My name is Anne-Marie Band, and we will begin looking at the E-mini S&P this morning. And what are we seeing? Well, overnight inventory is very bullish. Now, we just crested up over this 68.98 level. That's a breakaway zone. The next line would be 69.30. And then our first area of supply is all the way up here at 69.73. Now, what we have been doing is moving very sideways. And what our stochastic is telling us is that trend is up because we are above the zero line, but momentum is drifting. Now notice, when momentum drifts and trend is up, we revert to the trend line or the most significant moving average, which we leave on as our VWAP. That's our only one that we stare at. So this has already done that, and we're bouncing off of a ledge. What is the key breakaway zone today? I think it's 68.85. And so as long as we stay above that line, we are in breakaway territory. Now, what normally happens when we've got this kind of motion? We do have some sort of inventory correction. When will that come? Could it be like this one, where we moved all the way up into the trading day by majority and then faded into the close of that trading day, which was, half day or so. Take a look at this one. This one was negative inventory that corrected and moved all the way up into the prior congestion zone and then collapsed, really closing almost where the Globex was. So we have an array of possibilities. Supply sits below us, and let's take a look at the 30-minute opening range candle. It's not that big. Looks like it's about here. And so we broke the opening range and stayed below it, but held this area at 6,850. Very important. So it retested that area and then moved upward, now in breakout. So let's do Fibonacci and see what kind of price action we've got going here. I want to make sure I've got this 30-minute chart properly measured. Yeah. Okay, and so where did we come to? Right at 6,904, which is a bit of a measured event, but it could easily continue if, let's see, I go up to 5. If instead of, let's see, if I have 6.5, yeah, that's okay. 6.5 and then 7.5. All right, so that's what we're staring down in terms of upward pressure. The measurement looks to be working pretty well, and the traders are really trying to get up over this 68.98. Looks to me like dips or buys. This is a very steep line, and the price action is very descriptive, straight up. So as much as we might want the markets to take another breath, intraday motion says dips or buys. And that's really how we read a stochastic. Our stochastics read, if they fade and trend is up, we are simply fading into sport, especially if we are above the zero line or the 50% range, because this is a stochastic RSI. All right, so what do we have? The gamma line, 68.85 is the do or die. That's really, I think that is the call wall on the 0 DTE. The big call wall is up here at 7,000. The big put wall remains 6,800. The go-no-go line for longs is 68.85. Once we lose that 68.85, we'll be back in range-based formation, and that's going to make the charts very choppy. The charts look choppy today. They do. They look choppy if we lose that ledge. All right. So here is the NQ. We'll stare at it next. The breakaway formation for us is 25,000. That's the 0 DTE call wall. Let's put an alert there. Bring it a little close. The chart is bullish here, very bullish. Let's take a look at the 30-minute opening formation. Fairly wide. And again, it broke into this edge below. I believe I need to remove this ray because the market has told us that the actual support ledge is here at 24,709. So that's going to be where our alert structure actually sits. Where is the go-no-go line for bullish and bearish formations for the NQ? I would suspect that below the current VWAP is the go-no-go line, and I'm going to put an alert there. It's 24,842.50. And so that's where we're going to put that line as the above below. Pulling back into that line looks bullish all the way into that line. If it loses that line, it's well inside of value area high low, and then we move back into trend. Notice, very interesting breakdown and then recovery. Clear zones of recovery. So I suspect this is still a buy zone, but I am going to shift it just a little. 24,575-ish. That's the new clean support. Breakaway, we've got 25,000 above us and then 25,116. So this really does look like reflexive buying in terms of price action rebounding from support to resistance, back to support, back to resistance. Seems very likely. Now, here's the thing. If we get up above here, this line at 25,000 and some change, we've got literally very little volume here. And so could be a runaway train. We have to be careful. Let's look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin's still caught in the mud. Trend is still relatively bearish. We're trying to make a bottom here. And there is some demand sitting at 67,100. That's also the 0 DTE put wall. I believe that the new line in the sand here is 66,820. If we lose that ledge, it's going to be much more bearish. And so that's really what we're staring down. That's what we're staring down. Right now, dips are buys, but notice how the RSI slips below 0. That's a little iffy. So once it gets back above 0 and it recovers its VWAP, it's got some thrust attached to it with the upper edge near value area high at 69,000, thereabouts, 69,100. We'll make that an alert, and that'd be great. So that's what we're looking at, a little bit of a range event between 66,800 and 69,100. call wall 70,000, put wall still above at 72,000. So these guys are still on the back foot. All right, let's take a look at oil. As I've been mentioning for days, all the dips in oil have been buys. And they continue to be buys through this broad range. Now, let me clone this as it's broken out. As you can see, the breakaway formation in oil puts us right at the top of the current zone, $64.17. Is there supply above that could get in the way? Yes. Have we rejected this area every single time? Yes. Could it be a worthwhile rejection? Yes, except notice the location of the RSI and the overall trend is positive. So the pullback is very likely to come into the relative gamma line, which is around $63.75, $63.80. That is going to be the line that we want to watch for. That is the go, no-go, because this is in breakaway territory. And what we can do is clone this to see where we head to next. All right, let's pull this one in here. Okay, and we'll see where we go from here. Right now, breaking out, supply well above us into 65. That's a fairly likely target, to be honest. Just so long as we, pull back and give some good support up at the edge, 65 then becomes the target, and we'll put an alert right there. Dips or buys? Could the dip be savage? Yes. What do you want to do? You want to watch it come back and make some formations that look nice and clean, sideways like that, and it'll be in good shape. Okay? If you want to stare down the 5-minute and say, hey, what's going on? See how this RSI is pegged up here? That means absolutely hanging on. So not a short. It's only a short if it starts breaking down. And the way it breaks down is that it heads higher but doesn't hold the high. And then it eventually breaks support. So it is at the top of that range, so you are going to see people trying to sell it there. All right, let's take a look at gold. Gold is still in a bit of a downward trend on the 30-minute chart. Gobs of demand right underneath. This is gigantic. 4,865 to 4,895 support ledge. What is overall trend? Overall trend is down, but we are in one of these patterns. And so this was the last pattern that we had that broke, came into the line, and then collapsed. Could we see the same thing? Potentially. Point of control, VWAP is 4,967. Point of control is 4,933. The break over 4,970 or so gives us upward pressure into the gamma line near 5,020, between 5,020 and 5,000. On the way there, we do have some noise, and that noise is 4,991. That's the next fly in the ointment, per se. But that is 30 points from where it is that the first resistance line is. So we have a lot of room. We'll see what happens. I still think that this sits in a box, and that's what we're staring down. We're still sitting in the box. Okay, let's go to SPY. SPY opened at the 4 a.m. candlestick, right? They open up when Europe does. And the 30-minute candlestick broke both sides of the range that compression event. This is pretty tight range, so it's not surprising that it broke both sides. Supply sitting above it. So if they get above this supply, 686, very likely to get us some more upside pressure for sure with this move up into 688. The max pain for the 0 DTEs, believe it or not, is 684. So let's see how well max pain works today. We'll check it out for tomorrow. See if it bounces off of this zone. Let's add a piece of text so I remember. Let's see if it gets back there. It could easily fade, right? Okay, that's it for me, folks. We've got Top Step office hours in the coach's classroom in 30 minutes, actually at 8 o'clock. And then I'm on Top Step TV for group coaching, so please bring your questions, and I will chat with everyone soon. Take care.